That ruined my whole intro, but it doesn't matter. That's what happens with live TV. All right, I'm back. Vader Games, Why Always Me, episode 24. We've got a lot to talk about. But before I do that, I have to introduce an amazing group of gentlemen. All right, let me give you guys a little breakdown, a little history. The name Vader Games isn't Vader Games for no reason. Vader and I play games. And I met these three individuals through a fantastic league called the IEGA, unique in its design. Football, all right? FIFA to be specific. But what was unique about this league is that each player played with clubs that they were tied to, right? That's how I met these guys. And we battled, made friendships, and it's continued on. And I'm so glad to have them on the show. First, at the top, I'm going to have to introduce my man. He's been on the show before. Two of the three wise men. We got Skoolz, aka Reggie, part of the Football Weekly podcast. Skoolz, what it is? What's going on, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. And I just wanted to mention, you always say two of the three wise men. Who's the third?
That is a great question. Skoolz, I've been scouring the earth.
Oh, you haven't found him yet.
I still haven't found him. I still haven't found him. Wisdom is tough to find. It's tough to find.
Trust me.
All right. And let me also not waste any time. There's another individual that I have to talk about. Friendship made as well through the IEGA. You see him second on the panel. Prince, talk to the people.
Dang, I couldn't even get acknowledgement of I won the last IEGA. Come on.
I didn't have to do it because I knew you wouldn't let them not know. All right? I knew you wouldn't let them not know. Thanks for being on the show, my guy. And never least, I gotta talk about this guy because he's unique in the sense that he talks his trash. He talks a lot of trash. And not to say that the two other gentlemen that I introduced don't, but Tyribbs makes it a point to just hit you with a few jabs. So Tyribbs, talk to the people, my guy.
I mean, if you want to call it trash, by all means, go ahead. I just think it's facts, but to each their own.
All right. So you see it. I'm really excited to have you guys on the show. We're looking at an opportunity to talk football, top to bottom. I really appreciate you guys. I know, two of you stateside, huge American football fans as well as European football fans. So taking the time out to balance seeing what's happening in the draft, I rate. And then Skoolz, he's a busy man, consumes a lot of football, soccer, doesn't matter where you are in the world. The man knows his stuff. So to be able to do this show this evening, I want to first and foremost say thank you. Now, you see the panel right here on the screen. You see the topics. None of these three individuals are Manchester City fans, so they're going to hear me talk for a little bit. All right, I'm gonna run on just for a little bit, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet because obviously those of you that tune in to support, thanks for growing the channel. One friend at a time, it's making a difference. And you're my day one. So when this channel hits the hundreds, hits the thousands, I won't forget about you. So thank you for the support. We're going to deal with it real quick. Manchester City versus Leeds. Very important match. Okay. There's 5 games left in the EPL. At every possible opportunity, not leaving anything for chance, Manchester City has to win the remaining EPL to guarantee that they win the EPL and prevent this ridiculous, crazy, bothers me every day talk about Liverpool winning this quad. All right. Leeds is going to be a tough match. Yes, they've changed managers, but it's still going to be a tough match because, oddly enough, Manchester City have dropped points to them in the past. All right. Early on, I would have looked at this as an opportunity to maybe increase the goal differential because Leeds have played a very open, expansive style of play. They kind of refined that a little bit, only having a 0-0 versus Crystal Palace the other day. So I think it might be a little cagey. I'm hoping for a professional 2-0. score early like City tends to do, handle business, and call it a day. There's going to be some questions. There's going to be some health questions with regards to the players. If you haven't heard it, I'm going to run through it real quick. Walker, Champions League, terrible time. It was World War III. It was the apocalypse. It was a battle against Atletico Madrid. He came out there injured. You hear Skoolz in the background. He hates it, but I have to talk anyways. Walker getting injured. Stones recently having to come off the field after playing against Real Madrid in the Champions League as well. Ake had a little nick. Those players are a little bit touch and go. We'll see how Pep manages who plays for this game, but momentum needs to remain. The win needs to remain. And then also health-wise, it's going to be managing how players are playing. De Bruyne's been putting in some serious shifts. Bernardo Silva has been putting in some serious shifts. He's going to have to manage the squad so that everyone's healthy. I myself, as a City fan, I don't want to let anything up. I don't want us to take our foot off the gas. I want to win this game, not looking ahead at Champions League. Win this EPL game. All right. From a top 11, luckily enough, I've been working recently with pitch points as well as Carl with some match previews, talk about 11s. So if you definitely want to see some of that talk, tune into those channels, and I'll make sure to leave descriptions in the body of this channel, this video. I think that's what we got covered. More depth as we get into Saturday. Champions League semifinal. The Champions League semifinal. Manchester City, building off of its history, playing against a established, arguably the club that is the Champions League in Real Madrid. Tough battle, played at the Etihad. I watched it 3 times already. It's not doom and gloom, as some would say. It's not a missed opportunity, although you could argue it. But to be up 1 goal against Real Madrid, the true royalty of the Champions League, it's nothing to sneeze at. It's nothing to dismiss. All right. How many of us would have said Manchester City would be the club in command versus a Real Madrid, even with a Real Madrid coming to Manchester City? So the opportunities that were missed by some of the players, I think a little bit of his nerves. If we're going to be honest, Manchester City hasn't been in this position often. It's only the third time that they're at the semifinals for a club. So a little bit of the nerves, but they're getting through it. So I'm looking forward to the second leg in Real Madrid, up 1 goal. And obviously for Real Madrid to advance, they have to score. So it's going to be interesting to see how Pep manages things and whether Real Madrid can keep a clean sheet while looking to score against Manchester City. I think it's going to be a fantastic chess match. And I'm sure we'll probably talk about it a little more, maybe even talk about it on the stream. And you know what? I'm going to introduce the panel with regards to that topic, guys. And I'm going to start with you, Skoolz, because I know you consume football, soccer, doesn't matter where you are in the world, 24/7. I have the privilege of getting notifications when your podcast drops. All right. I get it on my phone, and I'm often on Twitter to see an alert of when you posted your latest upload. And I heard what you had to say about the Champions League. I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but you said that a team that's down 1 goal going home actually has the advantage, and said that the team that's going away up a goal has pressure on them. Can you explain that point and also talk about what you saw with regards to the Champions League?
I made that comment based on certain teams. Okay, so if a team that isn't on form, or a team that doesn't have a striker that's in the form of his life right now, isn't going home, maybe you don't have a chance. But like I said in the show today, Karim Benzema is going to score at home, and for Manchester City to get anything out of this game, they have to score. because you know Real Madrid's going to score. Correct?
I'm expecting them to score. Absolutely.
You're expecting Man City to score.
I'm expecting Man City as well as Real Madrid to score.
I don't know, because I mean, you didn't put in a shift when you went to Atletico. But anyways,
No, what? They put in an absolute shift at Atletico.
Who did? Man City?
Manchester City. Yeah. What are you talking about?
What year? This year?
Yes, this year.
Oh, okay.
Wait. Oh, hold on.
I missed that.
Prince, did you happen to watch the quarterfinals of the Champions League?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna have
there.
to. So, FYI, and I forgot to do this as I introduced the panel, but Skoolz knows his football. He's an Arsenal fan and has been an Arsenal fan from time. He knows his things. We've got Prince, who is an Everton fan, and just like Skoolz knows his stuff. And I don't begrudge him. I don't take anything away from him. His team isn't in the Champions League, so it makes sense on why he wouldn't watch it. Now, Tyribbs.
I have to announce I was an Everton fan. That's something I like to keep private nowadays.
No, be proud of that, man. Be proud of that. Be proud of that. No matter where you are in the standings, you battle on.
Or the league.
Or the league. Tyribbs, did you happen to watch the quarterfinals of the Champions League?
I caught glimpses of it, but to me, I just wasn't enthused into the game after Man United got eliminated. So I've been ready for every season to just be over at this point.
Okay, and that, if you didn't hear it, viewers, Tyribbs is a Manchester United fan, and like Prince, he doesn't have a team in the Champions League, so I understand him not watching it. Now, I got to address this real quick with Skoolz, viewers. Despite it being a 0-0 at Atletico, why
should have lost? You should have lost 3-0.
3-0, you want to say?
Easily.
So did you have that same perspective in thinking that Atletico Madrid should have lost more on the first leg?
Well, no, because I said
you did when I heard your podcast.
No, but what I said about the first leg of that game is Diego Simeone went into it. He probably told his players, listen, let's get out of here with a 0-0, and this is how we're going to get it if we play like this. But if they do score 1, that's fine. If they score 2, we're making it harder for ourselves. If they score 3, it's over. Mm-hmm. So if we can get out of here with at least a 1-0 and bring them back to the cauldron that is the Wanda Metropolitano, and you saw exactly what happened to Man City, they crumbled, they have a chance. And they missed chance after chance after chance after chance. How many times can you sit down and say Manchester City in a 90-minute game had 1 shot on net? How many times can you say that?
Not often, but
right. You were under it the whole game. They should have scored 3, and they missed all their chances.
Viewers, here's the problem I have with Skoolz, and we were talking about this in the green room just earlier. He has these lenses where he sees things differently for Manchester City versus any other team. The way you want to say that Atletico should have scored 3 on the second leg, right? You're very quick to make that point. Manchester City should have lost 3-0. You will never, and you don't do this, and I rate you for it. I accept you for it. You would never say that Manchester City should have been up 3-0 on the first leg, and they should have been. That's the point that I was trying to make to these guys. The way you see it, and I accept it, but it's so slanted. Now,
no, it's not.
Now, I will say this. And it's, again, the title of this show is Why Always Me. I have a different point of view with regards to Simeone. I don't think Simeone is deserving of being the highest paid manager in the world. I don't think Simeone is the manager that many rate him to be. Because I think he's made success out of being extremely pragmatic, which I don't take anything away from him, but I think he's one-dimensional. I think playing in La Liga, playing against Real Madrid, playing against Barcelona, he suffers from PTSD, and I've said this on a previous video.
You won the league the year before.
He won the league. I wouldn't take anything away from him, but you've seen how him being able to repeat that isn't there.
Wow.
And I would argue that he's not able to repeat that in a league that has Real Madrid looking to be one of their worst teams in several years, despite a fantastic in-form Benzema, and a Barcelona that just got slapped out of Europa. I don't think Simeone is the guy that he's touted for, and I definitely don't think he's the guy for the paycheck that he's getting.
Do you understand why he's getting the paycheck he's getting, though?
Well, talk to me. Let's have the conversation.
The reason he's getting the paycheck he's getting is because he turned Atletico Madrid from nothing, mid-table La Liga, into perennial Champion League at least quarters every year.
Mm-hmm.
So
am I wrong there? He built the club.
You are right. You are right. So he's getting.
It'd be the same if we'll bring it to Man U. If Fergie demands 15 million a year, Man U is going to give him 15 million a year because he built that team into what it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If he demanded 30 million, do you think Man U is going to say no? Hell no, they're going to give him 30 million a year. It's just when you build a club from nothing, the club does not know success without you, so will pay anything to keep the success it has with you. Whether the level of
the same thing just happened with Liverpool right now too.
Well, that's a different thing because we're talking about salary. Liverpool's kinda, but also Liverpool has like the players that they have that even if they had a new manager, I think they'd be relatively successful. But look at Fergie's last year when he won the title. You think any other manager takes over that team and wins the title again? Hell no. Look at where they're at. They haven't even come close since Fergie left.
Yeah. Well, we got second place finish, so.
With who? With Mourinho?
Mourinho, yeah.
And was it even a close second place?
They won Europa that league too, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the year they won Europa.
But it wasn't even a close second though, right?
Oh no, it was not a close title race. I can tell you that.
Yeah, because
I think we won. I believe that's the year we won the FA Cup and the Europa.
But that's one of the worst United teams. Well, I can't say ever because I don't know all of them, but that's probably up there with one of the worst United teams, and he was able to come second in the EPL, win Europa, win an FA Cup as well, right?
He was in our starting 11, so yeah, definitely up there.
Yep. So,
I think you genuinely forget who was the Man U team when Fergie left. That team was awful. When Tom Cleverley is on your team and you're a perennial Man U, perennial EPL challenger, and Darren Fletcher and Tom Cleverley are your midfielders, you got some problems.
Oh yeah.
And it was very evident the minute he left, they fall to what? Van Gaal had him in what, like 8th, 7th, something like that?
7th or 8th, yeah.
Never recovered. They recovered when Mourinho came in, and then they're right back to where they were before that. So.
Oh no! Hold on, Prince. Moyes came in after Ferguson.
Yeah, it was Moyes. Yeah, because that was Ferguson's hire. Like he told them to.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, but was he wrong?
Well, there's some coaches out there that are they're mid-table coaches. Like you saw Nuno at Tottenham. He's a mid-table coach. He can't coach like an upper echelon.
However, do you remember the whole issue when he was coach? This was a man that came from Everton who penny pinched. This wasn't rich Everton. This was penny pinching Everton. And he had the success he had with that team. He goes to Man U, expects to have some semblance of a backing, and they buy Marouane Fellaini for $32 million on the last day of transfer deadline day out of desperation and give him nothing else. He had nothing. They didn't start buying players until Van Gaal got there.
Yeah, even with the players, when Van Gaal got there, it wasn't. There were definitely a few players that Van Gaal signed off on, like Depay, but like other than him, like I could tell some of them like weren't his signings because he didn't play them that much.
Let me ask you guys this question here because I think it segues pretty well into the next one. We all know our childhood. We know what Manchester United is, or represented. We knew when it came down to transfer windows and rumors and the next great talent, that there was a short list of clubs that players would go to. Is if you were to look at the current state of Manchester United, right? Let's look at this season, 2022, with the expectations on what next season may be. So the 2022-2023 season would be. If you're a player, if you're a star, if you're an upcoming talent, is Manchester United, is it still a dream destination?
No.
And so Prince. So Manchester United isn't the dream destination anymore. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. And the answer is kind of like twofold, right? So they built their team completely the wrong way, right? They built their team in, let me buy the most expensive player. He has good performances here and there, overall good player, right? But then you have, I think, honestly, Pogba and some other people kind of like poison the culture, where like, you look at like some of the highlights of like Pogba, right? The Man U's highest paid player, or pretty close to it if he's not. He's jogging around. People are literally just walking past him. And like, if I'm a player and I'm looking at, give me options, right? If you give me, we'll go anyone in the top 6, right? We'll take the top 6 from the EPL. Man U's probably dead last on the list, just because at least every other team has somewhat of like a mentality and a culture and a fight to it. Whereas Man U looks like they're dying. So I don't know if you saw the Chelsea game today.
I completely agree with him, to be honest.
I want to add something in though, because you made the point of pointing out Pogba as a player that isn't matching what I guess is the expectation at Manchester United. I'm sure the list doesn't fall with just him. Like who else would be within that?
Well, I'm not saying necessarily skill wise. I'm saying mentality wise.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He came in, they gave him a fat pay packet. He got comfortable. Look, I mean, you can look at a lot of Man U players, and it's like they show up for, it might be a contract year. Next, you start hearing, oh, they want to leave. No, Man U's really bad at, recognizing the sunken cost fallacy, where letting the player walk is probably a better idea than re-signing them and giving them a pay raise.
100%.
They stick to that. There's no way Nemanja Matic should still be there. There is no way. Leader-wise,
they can only play 60 minutes.
But listen, leader-wise, I think he's a good presence in the locker room. But
so
even Juan Mata, same issue.
Just
gave him a contract extension.
Juan Mata?
Yeah, he's still at Man U, believe it or not.
He just played today.
I saw him warming up the other day, and I was like, "Holy smokes!" Remember when he was running things at Chelsea? Remember that?
I mean, even running things at Man U his first couple of years.
Yeah,
I think I saw him come on the field against Liverpool. I think.
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
He played against Chelsea.
Now,
yes, he did. Okay. He came on.
So okay, I understand the player mentality. I would have liked other examples. But
I got you. Let me pull up the score.
I can tell you. I think.
Yes, let's ask the Manchester United expert here, Tyribbs.
Personally, I think Lingard has been an issue in the locker room, but I don't think it's completely his fault, because I think we should have sold him.
You guys screwed him, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not that.
We did. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it with that. I don't blame him that much for it, because, like I said, we should have sold him. I don't know why we kept him. The man never turned up for us after his loan with West Ham. I don't understand. Like, he didn't want to be there. We needed the money. I don't understand why we didn't sell him. So, like, I understand why he's not all in, because, like, he doesn't want to be there. Why you didn't
sell him and you didn't play him? So
exactly. That's my point. Like, I don't understand the thought process in that. But we did the same thing with Henderson. But, like, the difference with Henderson is, though, De Gea just completely picked up his form again. De Gea was playing very badly.
But that's my point, though, is that why is it that it takes you nearly getting replaced, meaning that someone is going to either match your wages, or they're just going to, Man U might pay you off to fucking leave. But why does it take Dean Henderson having a great year at Sheffield coming back to meet now De Gea is good?
I'm hearing
Oh, yeah,
I'm
no,
hearing like
it's
a
so.
thud. I'm hearing like a
Oh,
thud.
that's me. That's me. I'm tapping on the desk.
He was pounding his table. No, I agree. You're right, because the same thing happened with Luke Shaw when Tellez got signed. The man was playing like Roberto Carlos for some reason, and now he's terrible again.
But that's the problem because no one demands anything. I feel like there's a lack of accountability at Man U.
Oh, there is
So
100%.
it's like sure, you're going to get paid week in and week out, but you only need to improve if someone's going to take your spot. Because going from Man U, where are you going to go? No one goes from Man U to Real Madrid. No one goes from Man U to Chelsea to Man U to Man City. No one goes to PSG. When you leave Man U, you're going down.
Wait. You're talking about present day. No one leaves Man U to go to a Real Madrid.
Present day. But then after Fergie, no one leaves Man U to go to a better team outside of Angel Di Maria and Ander Herrera. But even apart from Di Maria, the Herrera deal isn't the greatest. Like most people don't trend upwards; people trend downwards. When you,
I personally think that like you were talking about how like there's a certain list of teams that attract like those S tier players like Mbappe, Haaland, those type of players, and obviously Man U is not on that list right now. And I honestly don't want them to be because I feel like if we sign a world class player on some monster wage, it's just gonna continue to poison the locker room. Not because of that player like particular, but just because of the wage structure. Like I personally think that we just need to clean house a little bit with some of these like players that we don't need, like Matic and Mata, who have done good for the club, but at the end of the day they shouldn't be there. Same thing with Pogba, like they shouldn't be there. Lingard shouldn't be there. And we should just get players that actually want to play for us.
The thing is, it's all mentality, though. You got to watch who you're signing, right? If you're going to go and sign Neymar, I could have told you that was going to be a bad idea when PSG signed Neymar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I could have told you that was a bad idea. Mentality-wise, do you think he has it? Well, I mean, from Barca, he's a showboater. Outside of soccer, he has other interests that are not soccer-related. His career is no longer solely based on his ability.
And I'm slowly building the channel. Let me do a quick break here. I'm slowly building the channel, and I've had some videos in the past. And one of the videos I actually talked about because it had similar ties to what happens in the NBA as well as football. The player mentality that wants to leave one of the legacy clubs, if we want to say, want to leave one of the tier 1 clubs to go somewhere else and be the man. If you're a player that has that mentality, I'm already raising questions. I'm already raising questions in the way to ask, why are you looking to not make yourself the man here? Why are you not going to take on the challenge, for example, a Neymar, to be like, oh, I'm being overlooked because arguably the best player in the world is here. I'm going to go somewhere else. Well, you're not going to prove that you're better than him by going somewhere else. You can actually prove that you're better than him by remaining there with the success, challenging yourself. Or if you want to play the long game, the player your teammate that you're kind of competing against will eventually fall off as well. And what happens traditionally within sport is when someone else falls off, where there's a gap, someone else steps in. And imagine the legacy that Neymar would actually have now. I've talked about this before, but the perception that many would have of him if he was playing at his level with the Messi that was on the decline. A lot of the headlines, a lot of the viewership, a lot of the thoughts in fans would be like, Neymar's that guy now, and it means so much more than him leaving PSG to try and be that guy. Skoolz, I want to tie you in because I hear Tyribbs talk about Manchester United, poison in the locker room, things that need to change. And again, I'm a Manchester City fan, so it doesn't break my heart to hear this stuff that's happening to United. But I'm curious, what is it? Is it a matter of United being too slow to actually take the Arsenal approach?
Well, Arsenal has probably one of the best academies in the EPL. So they have the young player. They have the ability to look at someone like an Aubameyang, look at his attitude, look what he's doing in the dressing room and say, you know what? We might not have a striker right now to take your place because we've loaned most of our young guys out. But you're such a toxic character in the dressing room. I'm willing to let you go for nothing. And that's something that I think United's new coach Ten Hag will bring to that club. If Paul Pogba thinks he's going to be able to get away with what he's getting away with Ralph Rangnick with Ten Hag, he's got another thing coming, and I think he'll be gone by the time Ten Hag reaches. So you
Well, he's
have
already
to have.
gone now.
Sorry,
He's already gone now. He's out for the season, and he's already.
Well, I mean,
I've heard
yeah.
reports he's already agreed to contract with PSG.
Well, he can go to PSG and help them try to win the elusive Champions League, which won't work either. But
But like, I'm fully convinced he's out. Like he's done. We're not offering him a new contract. Like he's out for end of story.
every time Paul Pogba goes through this phase, it's I'm out of here. All right, here's a fat contract. I'll stay.
yeah, right.
Every 2 years we go through this same cycle.
You're right, and I hope they
But I
finally
don't
learn their
think
lesson.
I don't think United offers him that contract this year. They can't. If they do, then I'm sorry.
I think they something comparative, but I just genuinely think his happiness. He even said he's happier with the French national team than he is at Man U. He uses his international breaks with the French team as like a vacation.
Yeah, look who he's playing with in the French team, and look who he plays with in United, right? So it might be easier for him to play there because they're all world class, right?
You brought up a great point, those Skoolz, with regards to Arsenal having the trust, right? Having the trust in their manager, or I would actually say having the guts, being able to take the backlash of getting rid of, of a once very prolific striker without a plan B, right? In sense of replacing striker for striker. But I think that's so important with regards to the locker room, with regards to, a coach that's looking to establish the atmosphere and the culture, because what needs to be most dominant or the alpha or the prominent voice has to be the manager. And if there's voices that are challenging that, good talent or not, you have to get them out the door.
Well, if you look at the United dressing room, who's running that? Who do you think's running that dressing room? Ralph Rangnick? Chris Armas? I doubt it. What Arteta has done at Arsenal is said, listen, I'm the guy. You don't like it? The door's right there.
But like the thing is, like Arsenal, when you look at Arsenal players, like I think, like I just feel like I could be missing someone, but like none of them are like above like great players. Like none of them are world class. None of them have an ego. Like when you look at United, though, right off the bat, you have Pogba and Ronaldo. Like,
right.
Like it's harder from a manager standpoint to deal with players of calibers. And it's not a knock on Arsenal because they do have great players. They have Smith Rowe and Saka who can become those type of players, but they're so young that they don't have that type of ego yet.
But it doesn't.
They're also trying to get those young players away from someone like Aubameyang, who's the captain of the team and showing up late. He's the captain of the team and doesn't listen to any instructions from anybody. So I think
that's the Rashford issue. Look at Rashford. Without Ronaldo, without Pogba, Rashford was, when he was a fresh player straight out of the academy, that man looked like he cared to play soccer. Mm-hmm. Now he genuinely does not look like to care. He doesn't look to care to play soccer at all.
He literally looks like.
Where do you think you get that? You get that from the
Martial.
Huh?
Wait, say that again.
What did you say?
Sorry, Tyribbs, what did you say?
Martial.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, Martial left to go to Sevilla, and they love him.
No, he's on loan. He's on loan.
Well, I know he's on loan, but they love him at Sevilla.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. And imagine if you're someone like Ole, right? You have at your disposal Sancho, you have Rashford, you have Ronaldo, you have Cavani, you have, I would say, arguably a pretty well-rounded strike force. If I'd say probably top 5 in the world, maybe. Strike force wise, overall squad depth at the forward position, and then it's like. If I'm Martial and I'm working and I'm busting in training, but yet the bigger names always get picked no matter what they do.
Prince, you can't hit the table, man, guy.
Oh, no, that's a problem.
It picks up the mic.
No, that's a problem. Am I wrong? Like that would piss me off.
No, you're not wrong, but honestly, that was an issue. It was an issue the last few years. Like I don't know what happened to these players. Like Martial was so good, and like. He was balling for me, Man United at one point, but then just one day it looked like the man was not interested. And this was before Ronaldo got there. It was before Cavani got there too. I think it was probably around the time Lukaku got there.
It's coaching. It's coaching. I think it's coaching.
I think it could be coaching.
Yeah, I agree with that statement though.
Mhm.
You need a strong character in there to say, this is what I need of you. This is what you need to do. You don't do it, you don't
I
play.
agree.
So let's see it in training.
100%.
I
It's
think
been
you
so
need the
insane to see these
manager that
players
has the pedigree, right? Because if you bring in, I think that's what's happened the last few times. Who they go from Mourinho. All right, guess what? It's easier to replace a manager than it is a whole squad. So you get rid of the manager. You bring in Ole, who's a player manager, right? Maybe not the greatest tactician, but yeah, his players can be happy. Well, then guess what? If those players eventually take over the locker room, you have no say in no matter what happens. Because guess what? It's easier to replace a manager than it is the squad. The squad has the power there. And then you look
especially
at
on the bottom line, and that's
I
what the
actually-
Blazers really care about.
Well, the players are happy because they can do whatever they want.
yeah,
Well,
they're
here's the
still
thing.
going to get paid.
Here's
Right.
the thing, and I'm actually on the opposite side. I'm in a large disagreement in that cliche stance in terms of it's easier to get rid of the manager than the squad, because I think what should actually be seen is it's easier to get rid of the bad players within the squad versus the squad. You know how, like, obviously the cliche is one or the other. I think if the manager is right, if the manager is right, there's a few players that are poisoning the success of the club, right? I think that's probably the move to better make. And again, hindsight's 2020. But when we look at some of the legacies that past managers have had, and the longevity that they've had at those clubs, and we have the outliers, right? The Arsene Wenger's, the Sir Alex Ferguson's. Those are outliers. To have managers remain at a club for those many years, that's not going to be the case. But if you have the right manager and you're only 3 years in, and now 3 years in is considered a long time, I think it's best to actually look to see which players need to get out of there for the success rather than starting all over with the manager. And I know I'm in the minority with that type of thinking.
It's easier said than
I
done.
think it varies on search.
If you take it from a board perspective, right, and you tell the board, hey, this 80 million pound signing of Pogba with $300,000 per week wages or whatever, you have to figure out a way or find a team that will pay him and give you a transfer fee, or you can just fire your coach. They're not going to get rid of Pogba, who's also a marketing tool, right? Man U is very much into marketing.
I know, but when you think of, like, let's put our football hats on, right? And because we've got the history here. When we look back and we see that they've gotten rid of the manager, just a switch. Yeah, they get the new manager bounce, or they're able to stop the bleeding in a sense. What happens the next season? The next season they end up getting rid of players anyways. You know what I mean? So I kind of
got to get the right manager in, though.
Yes, you're right.
It has to be the right manager, because if you look at Arsenal, like if you look back like 8 months ago, Arteta out was trending.
Well, they were in last place. They were in dead last place in the EPL.
They were calling for the man's head.
Of course.
There were
They
three
made some smart moves.
They were
They
3
got rid of
games
some
into
key
the league.
players.
Sorry, guys. They were 3 games into the league. They didn't have a win. So actually, obviously on the standings, they're going to be last in the EPL.
Didn't have a goal.
Even last season, they were already starting the rumors of Arteta out. But
I just think it's important to hire a manager that has the pedigree to deal with the players they're dealing with, right? At Barcelona, the hiring of Xavi was a masterstroke. Xavi demands respect. You're going to sit there and tell me you don't know how to play soccer to one of the greatest midfielders of all time? No. You're going to sit there and you're going to tell me someone's going to sit there and challenge Conte at Spurs? No. You're going to sit there and tell me that someone's going to challenge Pep. Someone's going to challenge, Klopp. No, they have the respect and the pedigree. There's no player in the world, maybe outside of Messi and Ronaldo, that could ever sit there and challenge someone like a Pep or there's no way.
You mean Ozil can't do that?
Huh?
Ozil can't do that?
No. I think the systems they played didn't benefit him. He needed to be as like a
he can't play the way he wants in the way that football is being played now. You can't play like that. You can't have a passenger. You gotta do the work. So if you're not willing to do the work,
but also there are systems that are built for a number 10 to be free and to do what they want, essentially. But you have to be a number 10 who's smart enough to do what you need to do, right? The only people that have that freedom.
You're hitting the table again.
That have that freedom are like, I don't know, your David Silvas, your De Bruyne's, your.
But those guys still do the work of tracking and tackling.
Yes, because they're smart enough to do it. That's what I'm saying. You have to have the mental to do it and the athleticism to do it. But
okay. So we talked about coaching pedigree, and I agree, right? You have to be able to have the authority to talk to the players, and the players need to trust what you're saying because they know you have the credentials or you have the past success to do it. I'm not sure if all of you saw the news, but it was very prominent if you were checking things that were happening in the EPL, and I don't think it was a surprise, although there were some questions on whether Jurgen Klopp would extend his contract that took him to 2024. Liverpool announced that he did sign an extension. From what I understand, I guess members of the board flew in to the Champions League match and obviously got him to I guess put an offer in front of him and said, let's make this happen for 2026, and he's now signed on. So I want to ask, with the current state of the EPL, all right, with the changes that are happening with regards to traditional teams not quite at the top of where they were, and new money coming into the league with the Newcastles, and even with the performance that we're seeing from the West Hams this year, what do you think it means for Klopp to be in the EPL until 2026 and the success that we should expect from Liverpool? I'm going to start with you, Skoolz.
Well, I think, like most clubs, the ownership sees Klopp as a success. Look at what they're doing now. They're in every single competition. It equals a lot of money for the club to make that money and not to look forward and say, if we change our coach, like many of the teams have, and look where the perennial top 6 teams are right now. Look at United. Look at where Arsenal are. They're in 4th now, but look where they were. They were in 7th and 8th, finishing 8th the last 2 years. If we can lock down a Klopp for the next another 2 years or 4 years now, we can make all that money again, because we're going to be in the Champions League. We're going to be going for FA Cups. We're going to win the league. You can become a global brand again because you're going to be one of the most popular teams in the world. If these guys win the quadruple, look out. You'll see jersey sales. You'll see tickets. You'll see ticket prices can rise and people will pay because it's the best. So I think they see the chance of taking a guy like Klopp, who had the success, who's going to be successful, and keeping him around. It's a no-brainer for me.
Okay. Tyribbs, what do you think of Klopp being in the league until 2026?
I mean, it's a smart move by Liverpool, but I mean, because like we talked about, he has that authority in the locker room. Any player they sign, they know they're walking into Klopp's team. Like, they have to do what he says. Like, I mean, to be honest, like, I just don't. I don't think I've ever seen a big team lose like their main. I could think like Klopp will probably be one of Liverpool's best managers. I just don't see a team losing a manager of that caliber and ever having a smooth transition. So I think it's a great thing that they re-signed him for another few years. Yeah. Because I already said with Man City, I don't like when United lost Ferguson, very bad transition. When Arsenal lost Wenger, very bad transition. When you lose that your keystone manager, the manager that changes, makes history for your club, it's just never a smooth transition, I feel like. So I mean, it's completely understandable if they got the
okay, hold on. So you think that after a Klopp or after a Pep, that those clubs should expect a
turbulence, at least turbulence?
Do you think they should expect an EPL drought like those two clubs?
Yes.
So Manchester United is what, 10 years?
Not as bad as Manchester United because they have mountain of other issues in the office department. But I would think like even Arsenal just had a few years like of a rough transition. But I would say like at least like probably like 3 or 4 seasons. If they do it anything less, then like hats off to them. Like I'd be very impressed. But with the current manager market, like it's just not feasible, I guess.
Players are going to leave with Klopp too, though, right?
Exactly. That's my point.
Salah has a contract that he needs to sign, and if Klopp's leaving, then maybe he says, you know what, thanks but no thanks. It's been nice.
Exactly.
Okay. No, that's fair. I'm gonna ask this question to Prince. With it being 2022, don't believe the hype, don't believe the rumors about this quad. All right, but
it can happen though. That's the thing. It's still on.
Sure, it's still on.
Have they won one trophy already, or?
Yeah, they won Caribou Cup, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I saw they still have one more game for the.
Well, Chelsea's going to do their thing in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Manchester City's going to do their thing in the league.
They've never done it.
Villarreal is going to do their thing in the Champions League.
Okay.
Now, sorry, Prince. My train of thought. 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026. 4 years. What should be the expectation of Klopp, trophy-wise, for those 4 years? Would you say would be success for him and an extended contract?
You're talking to an Everton fan about Liverpool.
I thought you would see the irony there.
That's funny.
Say no success. I'm okay with that.
No. Because I'm not a like super like hater. Like I'm realistic. What success looks like for them? I mean, you have to remember where Liverpool came from before Klopp. I mean, even to a degree before Brendan Rodgers, that club was in disarray for the better part of
garbage.
6, 7, 8, 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
Garbage.
Complete disarray. Yeah. And so I think success for them looks like maintaining the level at which you're at. Your annual Prem challenger, making Champions League semis and quarters every year. I would see that as success because you got to remember they came from nothing. They weren't in Champions League. They were struggling to make it in every year. So,
do you think that would be the expectation? If you hear it from Skoolz, they're winning the quad. You think that would be the expectation?
I didn't say that. I said they still have the opportunity to win it. They're in every trophy, right?
Yes.
It's possible it could happen.
They're in every trophy for sure. If they were to be out at the quarterfinals, that obviously would have happened a couple weeks back. Do you think Liverpool fans, having been able to challenge for every trophy, would accept being out in the quarters or the semis with regards to the Champions League? Do you think that they would accept possibly only winning one more EPL?
No.
You think? Okay.
No, because look at the team you have built. I mean, your team is built for success. It's not built to sit around in 3rd or 4th place. I mean, controversial topic. I genuinely think Chelsea's built to sit in 3rd, 4th, 5th. I don't see Chelsea as a top 2 team in the Prem. I don't.
Yeah, that's not controversial. They had an amazing. What's when you're in great form in FIFA? What kind of patch is that? What kind of card is that? Like when a player is in like
Team of the week.
Player of the week in forms. Okay, so Chelsea was in form to close out last year's season, winning that Champions League. I think it created an illusion of how strong of a club they were with regards to challenging. But I want to ask this question because as you guys were talking, you kind of brought this to light. The fact that it's not Klopp from the early years, right? It's not Klopp from the rebuilding Liverpool. He's got a team that's challenging on all fronts now. He has such a strong squad. Can there be anything less than an expectation of Champions League or EPL moving forward because of the strength of the squad. Schools, what do you think?
Well, yeah, because he has to keep that team together. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about it, and we were talking about this exactly, actually. And the things that they can do offensively are it's crazy. So you have Mane, Firmino, and Salah up top, and then when those guys aren't firing, you can go get Diaz and Jota off the bench to come on, and Origi if you rate him. I know, but people do off the bench. So as long as he's able to keep a semblance of the guys that are doing the business now, yeah, sure. They're going to be successful. They will be successful. Now, like I said, if Klopp leaves and then Mane's contract comes up and he says, well, yeah, it's not going to be the same. See you later. And Fabinho leaves and Van Dijk's contract comes up and he says, you know what, it was really nice playing here. I'm leaving, and Salah leaves, then it's going to be different for Klopp if he's still there.
Fair
but
enough.
as long as he can keep this core together, it's going to be the same for the next 2-3 seasons.
I hear that.
I also, just real quick, I think it's important to look at the recruitment. We talked about earlier about the bad apples. Liverpool not only doesn't bring in bad apples, but has strong positive influences within their locker room with Hendo and Van Dijk demanding. You even see it on the field. Henderson will yell at Mane for not chasing a ball. Will yell at Salah for not chasing a ball. Like, they hold each other accountable, and I think that's a huge part of why they're so successful. No one gets away with slacking off around here.
Right.
And if you want to be that way, then go find a different club. And it's that simple. Like, I don't think Klopp genuinely has to do too much because the players know what is demanded from him.
Right. He's established the culture, well-oiled machine. Yeah. Players know what is expected of them. I hear that. Shout out to Edison. He's on the stream. He hit us up with some comments. He made sure to say that Inter choked yesterday. Goalkeeper error in the 82nd minute.
Probably lost the league on that.
Yeah, looks like it. And he's a AC Milan fan, so he's loving it. 4 games away from champions. Yep, I'm happy for you, my guy, because I know you've been a fan for a really long time, and they've had some tough times. All the points you guys were making, bang on, and I'm really glad with regards to a panel because you guys know your football. Let me do this transition.
See, all that stuff with Liverpool is kind of what I'm hoping is going to happen with Man U in the next few years. Like, I don't know if you guys have been seeing Ralph's pressers and stuff, but the man has been ruthless with calling out all the stuff that's happening on the club, and even has talked about captaincy and all that kind of stuff and how he wants to change up the system.
Yeah, I think as I see it, and yeah, of course, timeline, all that stuff comes across. I think Rangnick is being the bad cop. I think that's he's I'm gonna take all the heat off of what Ten Hag needs to do, and I'm gonna be the bulldog. I'm gonna be the bad cop. I'm gonna point everything out, and then he can come in, and Ten Hag can come in as the good guy and get things established and not have any blood on his hands in a sense. But
because
he's not a coach.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if he's not.
No, but he's an interim coach right now.
Yeah, but he's a sporting director. He's not even a coach.
Yeah,
he's going to be a sporting director.
I personally have no pressure on him. Like I said, I've been ready for the season to be over since Ole left. I knew the season was a wash. I knew the season was a wash. I just was hoping not to get hurt too bad.
Stop it. Okay. Wrong. Hold on, Tyribbs. I gotta hold on. So, at the point of Ole being fired, and I believe was after a Watford game? Okay.
Yeah, 5-2.
5-2 slapping. So after that game, that's when you're this season is a write-off. I'm done, and there's nothing good that's going to happen of this.
Yeah, I was I just from what I could tell with squad, Pogba was injured for 3 months at that point.
You still had Cristiano Ronaldo. You still had Cristiano Ronaldo. You had Varane. You had Sancho.
Varane was. I'm pretty sure that was also close to international break when Varane got injured as well. so I was already very skeptical of that. And then every time you have Harry Maguire up on the field, you never know what's going to happen. So it's just like I see no redeeming qualities in the squad, and like obviously I saw bright lights from Bruno and Sancho and Ronaldo at times, but like that's not enough. Like when you have McFred lining up and like every game, it's just not you just know you're going to be disappointed. Like it's just awful.
Yeah, you know what? The players on your team are awful, actually. Now that you're telling me about McTominay and Fred, and I forgot about those guys. Yeah, it's bad.
Like they're not completely awful. Like I'm not gonna say I want them out of the club
it's okay.
now.
You can hold them accountable.
Yeah,
they're awful.
The safe space.
Okay.
But they shouldn't be starters.
Okay.
I could accept them at the club in a rotation role or in an FA Cup game, but like they should not be starting day in day out.
Okay.
Plus, I'm pretty sure they're both on the young side too. So like, it's not like I'm ready to just throw them out the window.
Yeah, well, no, I hear that.
You can throw them out. I promise you, it's okay.
So, is the expectation that it's going to be like cleaning house? And do you think that Manchester United would take a similar approach to what Arsenal's done in terms of getting young, promising talent?
No,
that's what I think the best solution is, because you have certain people in the locker room. Like when you have Ronaldo in the locker room, like I know he's always been criticized for being arrogant, but I feel like at the end of the day he is a good mentor to some of the players. And I do think we still need that Henderson type player to be the leader in the locker room. But
let me put you on the spot.
I would rather us move towards that type of player instead of high roller players that are just going to come for the salary.
I know this is going to be I didn't like this, but let me get your take. The Bruno signing, contract extension, pay salary increase. When you think of, go ahead.
I didn't mind it. I mean, to be honest, he's been one of our best players. Like I know, like I don't like. I have so many issues with, like we talked about the other day on Twitter. Like the media post the most negative things about Man U for no reason. Like 2 years ago when Wan-Bissaka first signed. Hold on. Let me just use this analogy first. When Wan-Bissaka first signed up for Man U, the man was killing it. He was playing out of his mind. He was so defensive. He won so many balls. He was locked down in that corner. And then on Twitter, it started circulating the old Maldini quote of how he hated to make tackles because if he had to make a tackle, it meant he already lost the battle to the offender.
Right.
And Wan-Bissaka's biggest thing was his tackles. He was so aggressive. He always won the balls in his tackles. So suddenly people had such a negative connotation about Wan-Bissaka making tackles. And then suddenly I just started like seeing the public opinion of Wan-Bissaka turn so negative because he had to make so many tackles, but also because he wasn't like Trent offensively, which I don't agree with measuring fullbacks as, because like I don't want my fullback to be like amazing offensively. Mm-hmm. I'd rather them have them rock solid as defensive, which he was.
Welcome to modern
was playing
football.
Amazing. I know that's a personal issue, but I just couldn't believe how quickly public opinion changed with how great he was playing.
I think right there it's like you see I feel like it's a thing of you see what you want to see, right? Because I can tell you within 5 to 10 games I was like, hold on, this guy, one, can't really cross a ball, two, the reason he's having to make some of these tackles is because he's getting beat positionally and he's forced to be in a position where he has to recover instead of preventing. Right, and that's never really a situation you want to be in, because you always want to prevent before you want to recover. Because if you're having to recover, that person already beat you. They're already gone, and so I think position like
I'm not saying he was the top right back in the league. I was just saying he was a much like improvement over what we were had at the past. Like,
no, because then you guys also let Dallo go away on loan, and look at that. Look, he has one great year at AC Milan, and it's like, wait, hold on, this guy's actually good. No, he was good when you signed him in the first place.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Sat him on the bench for 2 years.
The thing that's wild. The thing that's wild, and actually, I got to remember Skoolz on this one, because he kind of set me straight. He's like, "What? Why are you listening to all these fans or rivals on Twitter, right? Like just in the space in itself, because of so many people on it and so many people able to just like or retweet comments from others, there's like you can get a point of view on both extremes. And I think with regards to Wabasaka is defensively, when he was at Crystal Palace, he was highly rated. Like
Yeah,
he would lock down whoever was on his side. Like you appreciated him or you respected him for what he did. Now,
exactly.
with systems kind of changing and maybe an emphasis on trying to get more offense out of your right back or fullback,
Yeah.
that change in expectation is where I was like, okay, this is a little unfair because for what he was quality. Now,
Yeah.
Exactly. I personally think they should have shifted him to a center back role, but that's my personal
You're just a
opinion.
FIFA player, bro.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know about
You're
that.
a
I don't
FIFA
know
player,
about
bro.
I should like the man's got some pace and he's got good tackling. I see why no
mean,
reason why him not to be a center back.
But to draw a comparison to that, I mean, look at the systems that you play at Crystal Palace. Who he was playing in Crystal Palace under Roy Hodgson, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't Vieira. Yeah, I know that.
No, it wasn't Vieira.
His system is primarily sit back counter, right? And in a system where you're sitting back, guess what? You as a fullback for the most part aren't doing anything offensively, right? Because the counter is we're gonna hit quickly, and then guess what? We're gonna get back in our two lines, two banks of four, whatever it was, and then it's like now you go to a team where guess what? The other team is set back on the, and the two banks of four. Now you have to make something happen, and it doesn't suit him.
That's actually very true. Yeah, but like
Case
I'm
in
just
point
using
is
Wabasaka
Grealish.
as an example though.
I mean, but case in point is Grealish. Grealish, you play on Aston Villa where teams are actually going to try and beat you. Where when you're playing with City now, you're not going to have nearly the same space because everyone's going to be sitting in their box. Right, and so guess what? His dribbles dropped from 4.5, successful dribbles a game to like 2. He doesn't look as good because the systems are different.
We lost Tyribbs for a second, so
his phone probably died or something.
I'm away for him to join though, real quick. I want to give a shout out because I said I was going to do this before the show ends, and we still have a few more things to get through. But Edison just shared with me that he got interviewed by the New York Red Bulls, and he's expected to be the coach for their youth squad in the summer, part time. So shout out to Edison. Props for that, my guy.
Well done.
I got disconnected for some reason, but I'm back.
No worries. I was just giving a shout out to Edison. You remember Edison from the IEGA? Yeah. So he just interviewed with the New York Red Bulls, and he's working with the youth squad. He just got word that he's going to be able to be one of their coaches. So props, shout out to you, my guy.
He's in
tickets, TFC Red Bulls, tickets.
He's
you
in
hear
New York
it,
City?
Edison. He must be now. So, good looking out, Edison. Thanks for always tuning in. My guy, IEGA, serious battles. We're happy for you, man.
I always beat him.
Ooh.
I did.
I always beat you.
Ooh. Wait a minute.
Edison wants to say Wabasaka is like Kalulu, a great fullback that is still strong. Oh, that is strong on defense. Can't get past him. It's not his fault that Man United is bad.
Well, it also the fullbacks are very dependent on your center backs as well. I mean, we call the two fullbacks on Liverpool the best in the world. And why do we do that? If you look at their attack, their two fullbacks are in the 18-yard box.
Yeah.
Of the other team, and they're crossing the balls to each other in the 18-yard box. Like what other team can do that? And it's easy when you got Van Dijk and
Fabinho
and whoever. Yeah, Fabinho covering behind you. But if you were to switch Wan-Bissaka, put him on Liverpool, and put Robertson or Alexander-Arnold on Man United, I mean, you have Wan-Bissaka looking like the best right back in the world or left back in the world, and you'd have. Maybe we're complaining about Robertson.
Right. No, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
But again, I was using Wan-Bissaka as an example because, like, I'm starting to see the same slander for Bruno just because he's had a poor run of games. The man is still is the most assists in Champions League, and Man United's been out of it for how long? Like, and he has the most chance creations in the Prem. I think
I
it's either one or two, but I
I
don't know.
think
He might be on Trent.
I think he took a back seat when Ronaldo reached. That's what I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
maybe a little bit, but like he still like has been doing good this year. I mean, he missed one penalty this year, and everyone wants his head, and I just don't understand it. Like
the thing is
That was a
that with
big miss, though.
Yeah, that
With-
sealed you probably not getting into anywhere near Champions League, right?
yeah, I could care less though. We still would have lost the game.
It makes it two. It makes it.
but it changes
two, I think.
the dynamics of a game.
Or 1-1.
Yeah.
True, but with the team that we have, I just don't see us winning, even keeping that tie. To be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, I just feel like with the whole Bruno thing, it's once there's a drop in performance, there's usually not a comeback to glory. If there's a drop in performance, it's dependent on the player. It usually is never really like the level of success he had when he came
I feel
from
like Bruno
Sporting.
gets blamed for the poor team effort because he doesn't have goals and assists, but like the goals and assists are a result of team play.
I don't think it's the
Yeah.
goals and assists thing.
Well,
I just think it's overall play.
Let me ask you this, because obviously Manchester United is going to have an exodus of players, right? And I think Cristiano Ronaldo will most likely leave if you guys aren't playing Champions League, right? He's not
Understandable.
playing. He's not
Yeah.
going to play Conference League qualifiers or whatever that is, right? So, do you think United? And after this, we'll transition to the next topic. But do you think United can be successful with Bruno being your best player? Sorry, did you hear that, Tyribbs?
Yeah, I heard about it. I'm just
Okay.
thinking about it.
Oh yeah, don't worry.
I possibly it just depends on the staff around him. Like if you want to have like if I think he's an A tier player. If you want to surround him with C tier players, then no, we're not. I can't like I'm not putting the whole pressure of the team's success on one player, especially
No. I'm
that's
not.
so
I'm not saying that.
dependent.
No, I'm not saying that he is going to be the end all and be all. But obviously, surrounding supporting pieces. But I think because we all do this, we look at a full starting 11, and we can say this is the best player on the team. Like if I ask Skoolz right now, it'd probably be hairs with who he would say is the definitive best player. But he can point out this is the best player that I would consider at Arsenal. Prince can do the
That's
same.
what I mean. Like if
So-
you had players of similar caliber, then yes, but like as long as they're close to him in caliber, he probably still will be considered the best. I think we could thrive. But if he's like clear cut the best player on the pitch, I don't think we're winning because like there's 11 players out there. Like they all have to be some sort of level. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, so what you're saying though is he can't carry a team.
He can't.
Okay.
I don't think there's many cams that can, to be honest.
So yeah, shout out. On future shows, and I'm hoping this has been a really good interaction, viewers. I'm hoping that these guys are liking the conversation, and that I can get them on future shows. Maybe not often, but we can look to do something similar in the future, and then we can ask the tough questions, right? We can ask the tough questions with regards to who do we rate amongst teams. Now, let me hit this real quick. And we got to talk about this topic, and I'm gonna keep it brief because I think we've actually answered a lot of it earlier. But for the sake of the EPL and what's happened with regards to Klopp, the success that he's having, Liverpool challenging on all fronts, he's expected to remain until 2026. Pep has a contract that has him at Manchester City until 2023. I believe, Manchester City fan, full disclosure, you guys know, that's why you tune in. I think that the fact that Klopp has signed this contract and is locked in till 2026, Pep now has the leverage to say, hey, Manchester City, here's what I want to renew, because if I don't and I move on, after 2023, you're handing this league to Jurgen Klopp. You're handing this league to Liverpool, and the titles that I've been able to prevent them from winning, they will be winning. I think that Pep now has that negotiating, bargaining power. Would you guys agree or disagree with that? And I'm going to start with you, Prince.
I'll take it as an overall thing. So I just think if he leaves City, he doesn't go anywhere else. He's only leaving City, maybe coach the national team before he retires. City gives him everything he wants without question. He has unquestioned authority and power over who's bought, what happens, who goes where. And I just it.
I'm gonna give you one correction. He does have the say and huge influence in terms of the style, the type of player that he does want, but he has been told no in terms of acquisitions, right? So he's wanted players in the past that it's been told no, we're no longer buying anyone in this transfer window.
Such as
yeah, let's hear this one.
Yeah, I need an example of that.
Let's hear this one.
That's a very bold claim.
I think maybe
no, there was no one acquired. There was no one acquired before Grealish last year
because they were hoping for Kane.
No, but again, so when Kane doesn't come, right? You're not. It's not like you. No one does this. No one says I only want this player. If I don't get him, I don't want a replacement, right? So it was told, this is the caliber of player that you want. It's not happening. We're not filling the gap, and that's what I mean by that.
Oh, well, I mean, even Pep is smart enough to realize that Harry Kane is not worth 180 million or 150, whatever it was they were quoting. I mean, that's obvious because imagine if you spend 150 million on a player that, I don't know, this year, he has 2 years remaining on his contract, you can get him for 100. Spurs, I think, weren't also willing to sell just because they're like,
they weren't willing to sell. No, the rumors were that Levy was not taking any. He wasn't entertaining.
No,
you put 180 million in front of him. I guarantee you he takes that.
Yeah,
but said no to 150.
That's the thing. It has to be like exactly. You'd have to put stupid money, stupid even for City's pockets to make that work. And if I'm Pep, I'm like, you look at it this year. I mean, everyone knew this going into this year. You have two phenomenal young strikers who are either free agents or available relatively cheap compared to today's markets. You have Mbappe and Haaland, right? They tell him, hey, we'll get you Grealish. Superstar Prem performer, I would say one of the best Prem performers of the year. We'll get you this phenomenal winger. Hold on till next year, and you'll have your pick of either Mbappe or Haaland. We'll see who we can get. If we don't get either, maybe we can revisit this Kane thing. Right? But I think it's because look at your dollar for dollar value that you're going to get for Haaland or Mbappe is significantly greater than you're going to get for a 30-year-old Harry Kane.
Yeah, 100%. It's good business.
Exactly.
I'm not in disagreement with that. As dangerous as Kane would be in the Pep system, I was still very hesitant because Kane's had his occasional injuries, right? And I'm also old school in the sense where the next striker after Aguero, I didn't want it to be like an established guy within the league. You know what I mean? But that's the fan in me. So Tyribbs, with regards to the deal and it being until 2023, do you think that the league needs the league needs to retain a manager like Pep, or else Klopp and Liverpool run away with it?
No, because before Klopp got there, it was just Pep.
That's not true. That's not true. Klopp was in the league before Pep.
Yes.
He was?
Klopp came to Liverpool, then Pep came to Manchester City the following year. I know it doesn't seem that way because Pep's success has been like ridiculous, but no, he came after.
I mean, think about it. Klopp started with his striker being Mario Balotelli, I believe, right? That was that year that they had Balotelli.
City legend.
Oh my God!
I remember that, right?
There's such a thing as a city legend? I don't know, man.
Stop it! Yes, Yes,
There was
sir.
Balotelli. I think that was the year they bought Balotelli, Ricky Lambert. Who was that? That wasn't
Ricky Lambert.
Oh,
Skull,
that
a
was
skull, I
Luis
think it
Suarez.
was.
No, that was the Suarez money. They bought Ricky Lambert. They
Yeah.
bought Balotelli. They bought who else did they buy? They bought a few other people that just didn't really pan out. To what's the? He's not Turkish. They had like a young winger kid they bought from like Benfica, who didn't do anything, and they spent like 25 mil on him.
I don't know.
When you said Turkish winger, I thought under, but no, he didn't come from Benfica.
No.
So
Maximovic or something like that. I don't know.
So Tyribbs, you were thinking that like
I could have sworn Pep has been in the league longer than Klopp, but I mean, I feel like it still will be no big deal because we'll just see how. We'll also have to wait and see how Arteta does with Arsenal if he
So-
does manage to turn it around.
right.
Tuchel is on his way to becoming a great manager. He's not there yet, but like, I think that Chelsea lineup, it's kind of shaky to me. Like they're losing so many key players. They
Yeah,
have
the
they
club's in
have
disarray,
bad play-
right? The club's they've lost their owner. They
Yeah,
can't even
they're
make decisions on who to acquire because they need an
Exactly.
ownership first. Yeah.
exactly, and then they have players like Lukaku who are openly disrespecting the club.
Yeah,
So
so
like,
so this is what I'm saying though. So let's walk it through. So obviously the 2022-2023 season needs to happen. And
Yeah.
so that is next year. Let's say things remain as is. Arsenal gets stronger. They're challenging with Chelsea with regards to the third spot. Okay,
Everton stays in the Prem.
let's be conservative, right? I'm going to be conservative, and let's say the battle between first and second, Liverpool and Manchester City, continues. At the end of that season, with the exit of Pep, now in the 2023-2024 season, um, do you think would the assumption, Tyribbs, I don't want to put words in your mouth, would the assumption be that Arteta and Arsenal will now fill that gap and challenge Klopp at for top of the league?
I don't think it's crazy. I think it's a possibility. They would have to make some really good signings still. Like I said, their squad is there, like somewhat skill wise, but they just need a few like more like players like veteran type players.
But we're assuming that guys that on their team aren't going to get older.
Mm-hmm.
You think they're all going to be at this clip for the remainder of their time there? I mean,
No,
how
I'm
old is
expecting them to
Mendy? How
develop
old
and
is
improve a little bit.
Fabinho will be done in 2 years.
Oh yeah, true.
Henderson's done. For me, Henderson's done, but everyone loves him. I don't know why. The kids on the wing, Van Dijk, Salah, you have young Diaz, you have young Jota, but Firmino will be gone as well. And by the time the kids at Arsenal are in their prime, Liverpool won't have those players anymore. So you have to keep reinventing new players to come in and keep playing that style. I don't think there's that many players out there like that.
Also, I feel like you forget to mention if Pep leaves, who does City bring in, right?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
there's a kind of like an assumption
Pochettino.
that City.
Yeah, but
Well,
I mean, the reason why I didn't
sorry.
throw in that scenario is because Tyribbs earlier said that when a manager like that leaves, there's
a fall off.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was just holding to that scenario.
We were kind of like mentioning it when I was on my way home from work, and I see like if Pep leaves in 2023, do you see a team led by Luis Enrique being competitive in the Prem? We were talking about it because Luis Enrique comes from the same school of thought, the same play, the same,
He's part of them at Barca. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there much change? Not necessarily, because look at Barca. Was there that much change? No. It essentially continued the same system with maybe minor tweaks depending on personnel. But
that's why you can't rate Pep.
Wait,
I mean, you could say the same. You could say the same thing though for a lot of managers that follow another manager. I mean, I don't know. There's
one way to play at Barcelona, right? So
clearly, there's not one way to play. They were in 8th earlier this year.
You have to play.
Someone jacked that one up.
True. All right. No, that's great conversation. Again, viewers, thanks for tuning in. Edison, I see your comments and I appreciate it. I think in the future I would actually look to maybe have more of a dialogue with people being able to temporarily call in and give their points. It's hard to manage and have the conversation with this panel as well as some of the questions. I will chime in a few, and maybe you guys can give me your take on it. Edison points out, he says he heard that Pep is looking for international glory. I've heard the same. That's a possibility.
You have to understand, it might not even be Pep's choice if he comes back.
Meaning, what do you mean? Like the club would want him back?
Ownership has brought him in to win Champions League. If he doesn't win Champions League,
here we
I don't know.
go.
I don't know. Is what? No, it's true.
It is not true.
It is true.
I'm not buying on that.
Why not? Why? Explain that.
I think if PSG were in the same position with Pep, they would bring Pep back. Same concept, I guess. You have an owner who expects Champions League success. You've come much closer. I mean, you could look at PSG and be like, that isn't working.
PSG lost in the finals and fired Tuchel the next season.
But I think it's also because
PSG
expects to win the league every year. For Man City,
we're not
still
talking
an
about
honor
the
to win the league.
No, we're not.
Yeah, but I think most Man City fans, if they're not lying, will say they'd rather win the Champions League than the league.
Never.
You'd rather win the league than Champions League?
100%.
Oh my God!
Let me explain it to you, because this is where not all fan bases are the same, right? And viewers, apologies, it's going to come across like it's a rant, but I'm just going to express myself. Not all fan bases are the same, and many fan bases don't have the same economic base as others, right?
You know that best, yes.
Pardon me? Who knows?
You know that best, yes.
Yeah, I know that very well because of Manchester, right? It's not London, right? So even with regards to the working class people at Manchester and some of the trolling that happens with regards to Manchester fans traveling to every game, there's limitations because of where the fan base is and really the lifestyles that they live. So the expectation for where the clubs come from over the years has been promoted, relegated, struggling, not really being in the mix until quote unquote winning the lottery. So that a lot of that fan base is still within the mix, and for their belief in terms of what they want to achieve, what they want still ties heavily to the EPL, to the dominance that they saw from their rivals across the street, winning EPL after EPL after EPL and only winning 2 Champions League. So when I say that most Manchester City fans want an EPL as the most important, it's a great luxury for the Champions League. The priority will be the EPL because that's where they've seen their rivals, the Reds, the Rags, get their glory. So well, yeah, that's a bank talk. But the thing with the EPL and even the calendar, and I've talked about this on previous videos. Viewers, please, if you're new, hit that sub button, subscribe. Also, tune into the Football Weekly podcast, YouTube channel, as well as an excellent podcast. Find them on all platforms. You can listen to them. But on a previous video, I talked about this, even the calendar with how things played out. And let's look at this season in particular. Think of how damaging it would be, like how the spirits would fall if, to close out the year, Manchester City gave up the EPL to a Liverpool, nipping at their heels, trying to close us out, because winning the Champions League happens after the EPL. So there's that drop, there's that dip. And me as a fan, I don't want that. I'd rather win the EPL going into the Champions League as opposed to being a loser in my country to then being the winner of Europe. That's just me.
Ty, Prince, what are we saying? Would you rather your club win the Champions League or the league?
I'd rather my team stay in the league, but to the point. I think going with like the Liverpool approach, where if say City loses the league, wins Champions League once he wins Champions League once, I think it then satisfies everybody's appetite for winning Champions League.
But there's context. But there's context. In this instance, this year in particular, that would hurt.
But at the same, I get what you're saying, because I mean, like I get it, but I'm just saying for the purposes of seasons going forward, right? You would have many more people would have less smack to talk about City if they won the Champions League once and never won it again, and just won the league consistently for 5 years.
Yes, but then the smack talk would be, because I'm hearing it now with the manipulation of numbers. The smack talk would be City gave up a 14-point Premier League
Again.
Gap to Liverpool. What do you mean again? We've never done that. But they would talk about how.
Yeah, you did.
No, we didn't.
They had like three games in hand, right, or something like that.
They had 3 games. Ridiculous. They had 3 games in hand.
You had a 14-point lead at Christmas one year, and you lost to Liverpool. You lost the league to Liverpool.
No. We did not have the lead when we lost to Liverpool. Liverpool was running with the league. You're talking about the COVID asterisk year?
No. Before that, a couple of seasons before that, you had a 14-point lead at Christmas, and you lost to Liverpool.
We've never lost. No.
Yeah, you have to look that up. You have to look that up.
I don't have to look it up. We never lost to Liverpool.
You have to look that up because you did.
Liverpool only. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Liverpool only just won the league for.
They only won the league
one COVID year. They won it the COVID year.
I'll look it up right now.
Okay, that's fine. But
maybe to Chelsea, I think you might be thinking of, but
no.
Again, I doubt it. Yeah.
So Klopp's been in the league. Pep came in year 1, got Manchester City to 4th. I think Klopp had Liverpool at 8th or 6th. And then the following year, Pep, his second year in the EPL, took Manchester City to 100 points. And then the year after that, he repeated.
So City won last year. Liverpool won the year before.
Yes, Liverpool won the COVID year.
City won 2018, 2019. City won 2017, 2018. Chelsea won 2016, 2017. Leicester won 2015, 2016. Chelsea won 2014, 2015. City won 2013, 2014. Yep. And then 2012, Man U won, which I think was
2012.
Fergie's last year, right?
Yeah, 2012, 2013, Man U, and 2011, 2012 was Mancini.
City. Yeah.
So I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong. Yeah. You're wrong. But it's all good. With regards to, but the thing is, with regards to the manipulation with numbers, they had games in hand. Okay, whatever. But the fact that the narrative will be City gave up these 14-point lead to Liverpool, even if we were to win the Champions League, I don't want that. And you know
Liverpool
what?
did it.
Liverpool did what?
Won the Champions League and lost the league.
I know, but they didn't give up being in control of the league to do that.
That's what I mean. I'm just saying winning. I'm not saying winning and losing the league.
I hear what you're saying, but when you brought up the point in terms of like the smack talk, it's just this is going to be a different layer to now slap Manchester City fans over with regards to obviously like UK talk, bottling the league, right? So the thing that I want to emphasize here is I want a Champions League to be won. Don't get me wrong, okay? I don't want it at the expense of the EPL. I want both.
You should want to be the champion of Europe. You should want to be the champion of Europe and the champion.
Because you've never won one before.
Especially if you've won the league before.
I disagree with the whole.
Because then you'll be PSG.
No, hold on. No, it would never be PSG because this league is actually competitive. But I want to talk about. Whoa. Yeah, don't argue that, Skoolz.
Just winning the league and not winning Champions League. Eventually, it's who cares? You have to win a Champions League, right?
It was never okay. Yes, eventually, I want to win the Champions League with Pep. I would like us to win the Champions League.
But you'd rather win a league than Champions League.
I would rather win the league before Champions League.
You would never want to sacrifice
a league
title to win a championship.
Exactly.
Oh, I 100% would.
Well, 100% that way. But another thing too is, and it's because we're champions of Europe. If you're not, you can't be champions of a larger landmass. You can't be the champions of a larger landmass if you're not even the champion of your country. So you're not going to lose the league.
It's tough to win the double.
I feel like
Italy-
this is just a ploy to kind of
Listen.
belittle the Champions League because you've never won it. But like,
Listen,
Of course.
it's a big
Italy
deal.
did it
No,
though.
Skoolz hasn't
Italy
won the
won-
Champions League either. What do you
It-
mean? Big
Yeah,
little?
okay. And what does that mean?
No, but so it has nothing to do with not winning it to belittle it or to big it up. Like,
And
you
I
know
told
what?
you I'd rather win a Champions League than the league because I've already seen the one league.
Just
that
be
we
thankful
won.
that you guys are talking about Champions League. I'm about to be talking about the championship.
Nah, you won't get relegated.
So
You won't get
you
relegated.
won't get relegated. And even if you do,
You get some
there's
silverware next year.
there's streams to watch. And you know what? From an expansion standpoint, in terms of like knowing more football, you're gonna be watching two leagues. It'll be worth it.
you can put it in every way politely that you can.
And-
But I'll tell you-
still be in the championship.
I'm telling you, if
And
you-
you'll win a league before Tottenham.
But you know what? You're right.
Oh, yeah,
Streaming would be cheaper. It wouldn't
Yeah.
cost me as much. So
That's
maybe.
true. That's
But
true.
there's also more games, right?
it'll
Yeah,
take
there's
you a
more.
long time to get back up. I think if you get relegated, so let's not hope for that. Because I think players would bolt, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, if players do bolt, yeah, it will be
See,
it will
but
be tough.
that's where I believe it would be. Either we get up within the first 2 years, or we fall into like a QPR, into a
Sunderland,
where
and
you're in a holding pattern. Yeah, where you can't be stuck. If you go down and come back like Newcastle, you're fine.
yeah,
Like Newcastle's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
What is it? Fulham? Fulham's just kept bouncing up and down. Like
yeah,
last,
they're
like, 4
they're
years.
back up this year, I think too.
Yeah,
they're
they
back.
continuously bounce down and up.
But it's also you have good owners at Everton though, so I don't think you.
no, we have a lot of money.
Okay, you have
A good owner wouldn't hire Rafa Benitez to be your coach if you're the coach. if you're
Or
that-
Frank Lampard.
that was wild.
Or
Okay,
Fred
fair enough.
Lampard.
so,
That's fair.
we have a lot of money, but not a good owner.
You should have brought in Allardyce, the
The master.
To
The
keep us
relegation
up,
specialist.
we already used our one Allardyce ticket like 4 years ago. I don't want to do it again.
he would come back for sure.
Oh, that's a great point.
Duncan Ferguson.
You guys are hitting me with some amazing segues. 1 second. All right. So we got Tyribbs, we got Prince, and we got Skoolz. I'm gonna look at these comments real quick before we transition to some the remainder of the league. But we got Edison in the mix, and he's going. What we got here? He goes. Vader, Mahrez is leaving, possibly joining Milan. Thoughts? You're killing me. I might go on a tangent. And Edison, I appreciate the comment. I myself, as a policy, because I'm such a fan, I don't want to talk about any exits or with regards to my players until the season's over. I'm going to do a special show, and I hope to actually maybe have some of these guys on to do a transfer window show and talk about who they believe should be leaving and who they think needs to be acquired for success for the club. Edison also goes, Champions League is very prestigious. However, teams play week after week for one cup, and that's more prestigious because the league is longer. I hear that. I agree. And Edison, you've been in the mix. Tyribbs, Prince, Skoolz, we've been in the IEGA. We've had those tournaments, right? We've had the league tournaments that in a unique way, the IEGA ends with a little tournament play as well. We've had the football summit where you're battling just to remain or to either get yourself to the top or remain at the top. So I hear what you're saying. I do believe that winning the league is tougher, requires more consistency. But you could also look at maybe winning the Champions League as being tougher because there is the variance of chance with regards to who you line up with and some of your opposition. So it depends on how you look at it.
Well, you're playing the top 4 teams in other leagues, right? You're not playing Watford or.
Well, you're playing last year. You're playing last year's top team.
Right.
So things happen from the end of the summer to the beginning of the year. So
Well, as soon as you make Champions League, all of a sudden you're in the mix to get players, right?
yeah, you're potentially of course.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but no, I hear you. And again, I actually, from what I'm hearing, and maybe we expand the panel, I think there might need to be a Champions League versus league conversation. And again, why always me? I know that my point of view is going to be challenged because it's not quite the norm, and many believe that it's a bias because I'm a Manchester City fan and I'm seeing it to put it through Manchester City eyes, but it's not. I played in the IEGA. I've been a player as well. I have that point of view with regards to what I think is tougher, having lived it. Now, I don't know who to start with, but hopefully these guys. You know what? I'm gonna start with Skoolz because Skoolz is kind of fiery right now. 5 games left in the league. Top 4 is incredibly important for teams with regards to future signings, financial reasons, playing in the Champions League. Where do you kind of rank your remaining 5 games? Is there reason for concern? And what do you think might be the toughest game? Let's start with the toughest game that you think within the remaining 5 for you.
It's got to be Spurs.
Mm.
Depending on what happens from now until the 12th of May, it's got to be the Spurs game for me.
Okay, I'm gonna look up real quick.
And I know Spurs has Liverpool to play, so everyone's chalking that up as a loss. But I've seen stranger things this year, so you never know.
So Arsenal is currently 4th,
Yeah.
and there's only 6 points separating you and Chelsea. You guys
I don't think we catch 3rd.
Chelsea's form has been terrible.
Yeah, it's disgusting, but I still don't think we catch them.
Okay.
They would have to lose some games.
And you're 2 games up on Tottenham. You're 2 points up on Tottenham.
Right.
And you're 5 points up on Manchester United.
Right.
So, and let me click on you real quick here.
So we got Leeds.
You got West Ham next. Your next game is West Ham.
Yeah, on Sunday. Yeah.
Oh, well, how do you feel about that matchup?
Well, it depends because they're going for Europa League, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they might be resting guys, or they might be, you never know what could happen through those games. So
okay,
it should be a good game, but I still expect to pick up all 3.
All 3 points. Then you got Leeds.
I expect to pick up all 3.
Okay. Then you have Tottenham,
which is going to be a toss-up. I'm not going to comment on that one.
Okay. Then Newcastle United.
Tough game again. I won't comment on that one.
Okay. And Everton probably playing to stay within the league, survival.
Well, that's another tricky game because depending on where they are, if they need 3 points to not be relegated, that's going to be a tough game.
We'll take donations, please. And you already donated 3 points to the cause.
Well, you know what? It depends what happens. If we go on a 4-game winning streak and we don't really need those 3 points, you never know. Maybe we put in a bunch of 18-year-olds against them.
Yeah.
Come on, do your part. Man, you already donated to the cause. Do your part.
That's fair.
So you never know, right?
All right, let me go to you. I think obviously with the last game of the year. Let me go with you, Prince. So you guys are currently I'm sorry for doing 18th. This to you. You're currently 18th, 32 games played.
Yeah.
So you have 6 games remaining. Only 2 points separate you and Burnley. And only 5 points separate you and Leeds. So let me look at your remaining schedule and see if you think there's possibly 2 wins in that schedule. Your next
Leeds
game
has a very bad schedule ahead of themselves.
Who does? Leeds?
Yes, Leeds.
Yeah, they play City next. Everton versus Chelsea is the next game.
Where's that?
Chelsea's form's terrible. It's in Everton.
Wow.
That's the thing is Everton has picked up 6 points away from home all season.
Oh,
that is not a cop-out. That's not a joke. 6 points away from home. So away games, kind of throw them down the bin.
Okay.
Well, kind of throw them down the bin.
Well, this one's a home game. So
it depends on what Everton shows up and what the tactics going into it are. Because, look, we put up a good fight against United. We put up a decent fight against Liverpool for the better part of 60 minutes.
Yeah. And you guys got hard done with some of those non-calls.
You should have had a plan.
Yeah,
sure.
and Mr. Man City's one to talk over here. I don't know if you remember.
I think it was a penalty, but I'm not going to guarantee that you would have scored the penalty, but I do agree.
But to have the penalty would
yes,
be nice.
I agree.
Instead of an apology from the referees.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, did they get an apology?
I forgot about the apology.
Not well. You got an apology from the officiating staff or whatever they did.
Yeah,
The
from
head,
the
yeah.
League of Refs.
Crumple that up and throw that out. They had VAR in order to correct that, and they didn't use it. So
But no, they did. That's the problem. They
Yeah.
used VAR and still said it wasn't a penalty.
and then they apologized after. That's to throw that out.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
That's garbage.
Yeah.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
now I understand why people are frustrated where it's 18th and maybe 1 point is the difference of relegation and not being
Exactly.
Yeah.
It depends. I mean, I
Well,
think
after-
Chelsea walloped us last time. I'm not gonna lie.
Chelsea's coming to play against Lampard now, though. Lampard probably knows Chelsea the best.
I don't know, man. We'll see what team shows up.
I think
That one I'm not going to say is an automatic loss, though. I
Fair.
would be confident enough to say that Everton's form has kind of picked up a little bit, and I won't say it's an automatic loss.
I'm gonna watch that game. That's on Sunday, and then you guys play Leicester City.
We tied 1-1. We should have won. Richarlison had like 3 chances that game and put away the last one, the most difficult one he scored. So again, that's
Vardy's back though, I think, right?
Yes, Vardy is back.
Ooh.
But I mean, I feel Vardy is a different beast, but Daka plays the same way. Like,
Yeah, but they haven't really been the same. Leicester's been kind of.
Well,
Yeah,
Harvey
they have
Barnes
been
also
clicking.
came back as well, so they got
Okay.
Harvey Barnes and Vardy back. So we'll see. But we tied 1-1. I'll say maybe it'll be a close game. I think Everton's form gives me enough hope to say like we have a chance because we were plummeting down the table come January, February, like plummeting, like no points. It was crazy.
It was wild. You got Watford. I think you probably
That has to be a must win, but Watford mollywopped us 5-2 or 4-2 or something like that in our last game.
Okay, that's unfortunately it's an away game. It's at Watford.
Oh,
yeah. So we'll see. I mean, maybe, but that was before Lampard, so maybe Lampard put some. I think that's actually the game that killed Benitez, that ended that whole experiment.
Okay.
Yeah, they got Benitez fired and Ole fired.
Wow.
Watford's doing the Lord's work.
And then you got Brentford.
Brentford actually is a good team, bruh. They are a very, very good team. I don't know. I would. Are we away? What is that?
For Brentford, yeah. No, you're home.
We're home.
Yeah.
What? It depends on whatever team Everton shows up.
Yeah, that's true.
Hopefully we get Yuri Mina. Maybe Calvert-Lewin will score 3 goals by the end of the year. That'd be much needed.
We got and then you got Crystal Palace. That's gonna be a tough game.
That's gonna be a loss. They made us look so silly like 2 weeks ago. It wasn't even funny.
I got to give Vieira ratings, man. Like, I like what he's doing this year. Good promise. And then we talked about it earlier. Then you're ending the
city legend.
That Arsenal,
Everton. I got 3 points there. You know, we can put those one in the bag already. Mark the calendar. Mark the calendar. What's today?
Okay.
I'm a wizard. You know what? I'll put $5. I'll put $5 on the game and on like FanDuel or something.
Okay. Again, it depends on what's going on with Arsenal up until that.
Oh, see you with the excuses, man.
Well, if we need 3 points to get fourth, you're not winning that game. I can guarantee.
These Arsenal fans, man, already with the excuses. Man, you fans, what is this?
let me hit up real quick with regards to Edison. He goes, I think Tottenham will steal the 4th spot.
Yeah. Okay. All right. He's just upset about all the shellackings he got. It's okay.
Wow. And then he goes, however, Conte is looking to leave Spurs for PSG. If that's the case, I don't think that's a good move for him, man.
I did see that. I mean, it gives him what he wants, which is control. If you don't have to deal with Daniel, Levy.
Yeah, but PSG is not going to be the PSG that it is. Like,
I mean, but if you're able to offload Neymar and Messi and the rest of the overpaid crew and build a team around Mbappe, that can be a very scary team.
Oh, but Mbappe's leaving. You don't think Mbappe's leaving?
Not with the money. If you're leaving for money, PSG's gonna offer him more money. I think.
No, why would he leave for the money?
Why would he leave for Champions League?
He's leaving for better weather.
He's French.
That's what
he's in Paris. I mean, I don't know.
He's leaving for better weather.
I don't think he's leaving. I think the whole Madrid ploy and play is just for him to get more money, which he's already done out of PSG.
That's fair. That's fair. Before we actually, I'm gonna save it for later because I have a big bold comment that I want to hit up. You guys tell me if I'm crazy, but let's talk Manchester United. And this is what's wild as I'm looking at this. And Tyribbs, it's gotta it's gotta be a gut punch right now to know that you only have 3 remaining games.
I'm happy about it.
You're talking to the man
I
that
told
wanted
you
the
I
season
need
to
this thing
end.
to end.
No, I know, but you don't want to be sixth.
It's not. It's not in our hands.
It's Europa
if it
League,
was
isn't
in
it?
our hands, I would
It's
care
also
more.
not 18.
It's Europa Conference.
Oh, it's Conference League. I thought it
Yeah,
was 7th.
Yeah, the Conference League.
It's
No.
Conference. Oh yeah, you don't want to be there.
you don't
Yeah,
want
I
that.
would prefer not to be there. I have full confidence for Tottenham to choke. I mean, we have 3 games against.
Me too.
We have 3 games left against bottom tier teams. Brentford is like we talked about, like a little bit of a threat. All these teams have posed a little bit of threat.
But
I
you
wouldn't be
don't.
surprised if we came out with 4 points out of this.
But
So
you don't look at the form of your team. Man U has looked god awful in the last.
Oh no, I agree.
games
That's why I
they've
said
played.
I'm expecting 3 to 4 points out of these 3 games.
But they have looked god awful. We won. We won. We haven't won a game, and I don't even know how long. And we won.
I know. I'm not disagreeing.
yeah,
I'm
Brett.
curious
So
to see how they're gonna end the year.
you're going to be hosting Bradford, and that's actually going to be very interesting. We'll see whether Cristiano Ronaldo will be fully charged up, take his sensu bead, and being able to go. And then after that, you got Brighton at Brighton,
Tough.
and then you got at Crystal Palace. Those are
Tough.
2 tough games.
Those are tough.
Bottom tier
Yeah,
team?
Crystal Palace is definitely the toughest out of, I
You
think,
said
the 3. But
bottom tier team. You're drunk.
not even. I mean, probably like mid-table teams.
It's going to be tough, but there's a huge gap, right? So there's Brentford on May 2nd, then there's Brighton on May 7th, and I don't think that's actually good for you guys. The 5-day gap, I don't think that's good with some of the with Cristiano Ronaldo, who I think you guys are going to heavily rely on. But then you have until the 22nd, right? So that's 15 days between Brighton and Crystal Palace. So
yeah, I don't know who made the schedule. Like, why do you rush these games?
Gotta play the World Cup in November.
No, I'm not saying that. So we have a 5-game gap or a 5-day gap between our first and second game of the month, and then there's a 15-day gap between our second and third game.
Yeah.
Why are we in such a rush to play that second game?
That's crazy. I don't know. But they obviously have to have Manchester United play on the final day of the season.
My issue isn't with the third game; it's the second game. Why are you rushing that second game?
That's true.
Is there an international break there?
No, there's no more for the year.
No.
For the season?
No. Well,
let me check.
No, there's no more for the season. International break?
Yeah, the last one was the last one.
If there is, I need all the players to have injuries and not go to their international team because there's things at stake. So as we talked about the closing out of the league, and thank you for the time. I know this is going on. If you guys do have a hard stop, please let me know. No hard feelings or anything. I totally understand. EPL top 4. Who's it critical for? Of the teams that let's look at and let's talk out of body a little bit with regards to the other team. Arsenal, Tottenham, Manchester United. I'm not going to put Chelsea in there. Talking with Skoolz, he believes that they're pretty much safe. They won't be challenged. But for Arsenal, Tottenham, and Manchester United, this top 4 is most important for who to have success for the following year. I'm going to start with you, Skoolz. Is top 4 crucial for Arsenal to continue its success?
Yes. I believe it's important. It's critical for all 3 of those teams. But looking at my squad, in order to attract players, you have to be in Champions League. If you're in a battle to get a player, say we're looking at Benfica's Darwin Núñez or something like that, and he has the opportunity to go to an AC Milan, Arsenal, or a Chelsea. I think that puts us in a third spot, and even independent on the money that we can offer him. I think that puts us in a third spot just because we're not in Champions League.
Gotcha. Right.
So I think it kind of hurts us in a rebuilding stage of our. I mean, if we're well established, like a Chelsea or that's our team, and we just need one player here or one player there to freshen it up, it's different than a team like Arsenal who needs two strikers, another midfielder, a right back, and a left back. So I think it's critical for Arsenal to get into Champions League because you'll have more options when it comes down to the transfer market.
Fair. Do you? I know you want the season over, Tyribbs, but
season is over.
But if there was top four, or actually, you know what? Let's assume that top four is not happening for Manchester United. How do you think that affects you guys with regards to next year's success or next year's rebuild? Is it actually a plus or a minus for you guys?
I think it's a plus because I think that we'll actually sign players that genuinely want to play for the club. Because that's what I want in the club. I want players that are going to come and they're going to be hungry to win, and they actually want to play for the badge. I feel like if we don't have Champions League, and we're not overpaying for these players, then I feel like the quality of players that we're going to sign are going to be much better than players that are coming because they want to play in Champions League, which is a fine request. It's not as bad as overpaying a player, but at the end of the day, like I said, the culture is an absolute mess. Right now, that's the biggest concern. So, if we have to sacrifice Champions League for a year, that's fine.
You know what? I like that perspective. It's kind of like you're not in Champions League, so the pressure with regards to the manager and the club to have to obviously have good performances in the Champions League isn't there. And then two, the players that you do acquire are players that want to be at Manchester United for United, and to get them back to top four. Yeah, I can see that approach. I'm not mad at that.
I think it's more important for Arsenal because, like I said, they're already in they're in the middle or close to the end of the rebuild. So they get this. This is obviously a much bigger step for them for trying to get certain targets. I don't think Gabriel Jesus will end up joining if they don't get Champions League.
Right.
And as for Tottenham, I honestly don't I think this has very little impact on Tottenham. I don't see Tottenham as a big six team, to be honest. I don't know how you consider a team successful when they're never found success.
Never, ever.
But
ever.
Okay, but
never, ever.
No, but
ever.
hear me out. With regards to them being considered a top six or big six or challenging six or whatever, it's because they are in that mix, though, right? It's because they.
So is Leicester. Leicester has more trophies.
You can't consider.
No, I know Leicester has more trophies, but they haven't been as consistent in terms of the top six challenges.
I think other than this year, they have. I feel like they've been just as consistent. Obviously, with Brendan Rodgers took over, and it's just they have had a terrible year this year. And I feel like that's put a bad taste in people's mouth, but they have been very consistent. Like I said, Jamie Vardy has been an absolute monster in the Prem for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, he's been their killer up front. Okay, I mean, actually, I'm gonna do my homework and kind of see who's been consistent. I guess even if we want to look at the last 10 years with regards to that. But okay, and then United's gonna be better off not being in the top four. Obviously, with regards to future signings and attractions, Arsenal is definitely in the mix, and Tottenham not so much. Okay, I did get a request. I'm gonna leave Everton alone on this one, but I did get a request from Edison in the mix. He asked if we can briefly, and maybe I'll lean on Skoolz a little bit, but he said to look at Syria, and Syria they've played 34. AC Milan's played 34, Inter Milan 34, Napoli 34, and Juventus 34. The point gap is only 2 points between AC Milan and Inter Milan, but there is a 5-point gap between Inter Milan and Napoli. So I think it's safe. it's not really safe to say, but if we're going to go based off of kind of form here, I think we should say it's a 2-team race with regards to top two, AC Milan and Inter Milan.
But Inter had their opportunity, so they blew it. I think for a team like Milan, I think just keeping the train chugging along of making the Champions League year in and year out, I think that's more of a success. Now, being first place in Serie A is kind of like the cherry on top, but I think making Champions League and the same type of rebuild as Arsenal, right? Slowly, not just going out and buying, but slowly bringing guys through and making the Champions League, and maybe getting one player like a Giroud to refresh, and then re-signing a Zlatan who can be that presence in the locker room to guide the younger guys. I think it's if they win the Scudetto and make Champions League, beautiful. What a year. But I think just being solidified in the Champions League spot right now, like they've made Champions League, they can't not be out of top four.
Right.
I think that's like a good step for them. Maybe in 2 years you're looking at, okay, maybe we need to be winning the league and making Champions League, obviously. But I think for now, I think making the Champions League it would be more important than winning the Scudetto. And I know you don't agree because you'd rather win the league than the Champions League, but I think make that extra money that you get, the prestige, and being able to actually attract players to come to Milan. Like Riyad Mahrez isn't going to Milan if they're not in Champions League. So
yeah, but hold on, why are you shooting strays at me?
What did I say?
You said I would rather.
There were multiple stray bolts on that one.
I know, but I let a lot of them go. But the one with regards to Champions League and league, again, if you're winning the league, you're
But you
obviously
said that.
No, I did say that, but if you're winning the league, you're in a position to play in Champions League, so you can still have the attraction that's important.
Right. But I mean, if you talk to Joe, he's like, when they were like, we were in December and they were in first place or second place, he was just like, we're not even going to make Champions League. We're going to finish sixth, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you have to, now that you've made Champions League, it's, you're going to, like I said, you're going to attract the players, right? And I know if you win the league, you obviously make Champions League.
Fair enough. Quick point before we kind of wrap things up here. Edison goes, Milan is having a big sale on in the summer. Investor Core is becoming a major precedent. Milan is having 300 million. Will have a 300 million budget in the market. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are the guys that bought Gucci, I think. The same company.
Oh, damn. Okay.
So they're willing to put some money into Milan, and I hope they do it the right way. But I know what's going to happen. So
yeah.
I think you also got to take into account though the whole thing that happened with Inter last year, though, too. Like their whole money struggling, having to force sell basically Lukaku.
Yeah. Which
and like how they're going to recover, because apparently they're going to try to sign Lukaku back again this year. So if they do, that has to be investigated for fraud, because it is going to be pennies on the dollar.
Yeah,
but
he never should have left in the first place. I mean,
he shouldn't, but he had to. They couldn't afford to keep his wages.
Yeah, and obviously Conte left as well, right? So it was a huge exodus.
Yeah.
All right. I have to say this. Guys. I don't know if you've caught the show before, but if you haven't, definitely catch it in the future. One of the segments that was fan requested, and I was happy to oblige, is the Vader Games TV Why Always Me shoe cam. And the shoe cam was requested because word got out that I got a decent shoe game, and they want to see what I kind of sport. So for every show, I sport a different pair of shoes, and viewers are trying to catch me to repeat a shoe on a show. So there's a little bit of a challenge there. And like I said, viewers, if I'm able, I humbly am growing this channel, but when we do reach that day, that milestone that allows me to kind of give back to my viewers, I do have a link with regards to footwear, and I've talked to that link, and they said that they will make it possible for me to actually give away pairs in the future. So it's obviously going to have to be a substantial milestone for me to hit, but with every support, with every friend, that I'm able to make on this channel. Every sub, we make it happen. So that's those of you on Twitch and those of you on YouTube. So we've got the shoe game. I'm going to put that on screen right now. All right. Let me know, viewers. Let me know if you can see these. I'm gonna work on the lighting and get things better for you guys. But here's what we're sporting tonight. All right. It is springtime out here. It's dry. It's not rainy season, so these all whites can actually hit the streets.
Those fours?
I don't say what they are. I actually have my viewers comment on what they are in the comments, but they are. I'll show you. Let me lift up the tongue. Show you the brand that they are. And you can see a little side profile right there. So viewers, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what footwear there are. Let me know if you've seen them on previous shows as well. And like I said, let's hit that milestone and make this possible for me to give back to you the way you guys have kindly been able to give to me. Let me say this, and I have to, and I stress this, and I probably won't even be able to find the proper words. But Skoolz, Prince, Tyribbs, thank you, all three of you, for being on the show. Thanks for talking to me about football or soccer, depending on where you are in the world. It's been a fantastic night of football talk. I've been I'm greatly appreciative of what you've done. You guys have actually exceeded some of the conversations that I was expecting to have. So thank you for that. First things first, my peoples come first. Please support everyone on this channel. Hopefully down the road, these guys have avenues that they're looking to get support on, and I'm going to be able to provide that in the description of this channel. We know that Skoolz has the Football Weekly podcast on all platforms, has a YouTube channel, even with videos not posted regularly. Go and sub to that channel so that when the notifications come, you're able to catch it. And there's a podcast every week, and he talks football, all aspects, all across the world. World Cup qualifiers, MLS, and EPL, La Liga, Ligue 1, Serie A, Bundesliga. It's all there, so definitely tune in. Champions League as well. I don't always agree with his takes, but his takes are always informative and knowledgeable. Before I sign off, guys, if there's anything you want to plug, promote, comment on, now's the time. I'm gonna start with you, Tyribbs.
No, I got nothing.
Okay.
I got nothing to promote.
All right. Can I say that can I hit you up in the DMs with the potential shows in the future? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Sure.
Excellent. All right. Prince, you're up. Prince? Prince, are you there?
Phone died.
I think so. Now, Skoolz, anything you'd like to say before we sign off, my guy?
Well, you said it all. Podcast, Football Weekly, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Amazon Music. We're everywhere, so you'll find us.
Excellent. So, traditional Why Always Me Vader Games TV, I will be chopping this video up in segments. You know how I do. I would not expect you guys to consume this entire content at once. So I'm going to chop it up with highlights. You see the topics on the screen. Look out for those videos individually being posted in the next few days. And definitely tune in for the next show. I'm either going to be talking about the starting 11 that gets posted with the Leeds game, or we're going to give you guys a little post-game reaction. But next week is Champions League, and we know how important that is. Manchester City has a chance to make it to their second Champions League final, making history every year. It's big. I want to thank Skoolz, Prince, Tyribbs. Appreciate you guys, man. For real. We're growing slowly, and we're able to grow because of support like yours. And Edison, my guy, good looking out. Congrats again on that job, Coach. I love it, being able to do your thing. Do something that you're passionate about, and we'll catch you guys next time on Vader Games. Saying bye from Skoolz, Tyribbs, and Prince. We're out.